Welcome back, everyone. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Hi, if you are new here, my name is Chaida. I am a Black conservative content creator and writer. And this is my podcast where I discuss relevant issues surrounding people, society, culture, and politics. So glad for you guys to be here. Today, we are doing things a little bit differently. I decided to sit down with my boss, who I work for at Chick-fil-A. Yes, in case you guys didn't know, I am a certified trainer with Chick-fil-A. I've been with the company for 3 years. I've always been fascinated by the culture dynamic working at Chick-fil-A between customer service and the guest interaction and everything that goes on in between of that. I've always been amazed at how Chick-fil-A invests so much into making sure they're bringing delightful, pleasurable service to each and every single individual that comes into the store. So that's why I've decided that to sit down with my store operator, Juan Ortiz, because he is amazing and he has such a teddy bear complex. He seems tough on the outside, but he's really humble and soft and welcoming. And if anyone in the Hampton Roads area has met him, they will tell you the same thing. He's the nicest of the nice guys, even though he doesn't believe that a single word of that. So yeah. So during this interview, my boss will essentially be breaking down the business for you and explain how has Chick-fil-A become the most successful business in the fast food industry. So yeah, I'm gonna roll right into it because it's a long video. I know, I'm sorry. But I think you guys are gonna gain so much insight from this interview. So here it is. Hi, I'm Chaida. This is my boss, or I should like to say store operator, Juan Ortiz. Sounds about right?
Yes.
Okay, great, because that would have been really embarrassing if I didn't get that right.
You can say Ortiz, like the pastor that married me and my wife, and then I'll probably say something at that point. It's Ortiz. Yeah.
Because I always call your son Ortiz Jr. at the store.
He's not a junior, but he has my dad's middle name, Manuel. So that's pretty interesting.
So, I've been working at Chick-fil-A. Most of you guys know that, but if you don't, yes, besides doing podcasting and writing, I work as a certified trainer with Chick-fil-A. I've been at this store for over 3 years now, and so far it's going pretty well. I have a list of questions that I'm going to ask my boss, and before we get into that, I'm going to open up with a scripture. And in today's scripture, you can find that in 1 Timothy 4, and it says here in verse 12, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." As you all know, I love starting each episode with a scripture or passage from the Bible. It just sets the mood right, and I hope that it sets well with Juan over here.
I read daily, so we're good.
All right. So, this is Juan Ortiz. He's been working with the company for over 2 decades. He's been working at Chick-fil-A. He started on the ground as a team member in 1999, and he became a store operator in 2006. He has operated about 4 stores across the East Coast since then, and he has at home a lovely wife. Her name is Melissa, and he has 3 sons. I know his first son is Jonathan. The other 2,
Nicholas and Christian.
Nicholas and Christian. Any pets?
Winston, he's a golden doodle.
Oh, so
It's my little baby.
cute. So cute. All right. So my first question is, what encouraged you to become an owner operator?
It was the operator that hired me as a team member. I used to think Chick-fil-A was just, it's another business. You clock in, you clock out. You're just a number, right? Nobody really cares about you. And, so that was my impression of business in general. And then Mr. Davis, Bill Davis, at Indian River FSR, which he retired, I walked into the store going there, prove him wrong. And no. Him and I had many conversations in which I realized that, you can have your beliefs and you can lead a business with your beliefs and live your beliefs out, not only in business, but also in other areas, which I didn't think was possible. I always thought compartmentalization was the key. And he retired and I cried that day, but I still talk to him.
How did your family grow up, and how did that impacted your life to becoming a team member?
I have a mixed family, so my biological dad was long gone by the time I was 6. It was in New York, and up until the age of 11, I saw a lot of the things that didn't have a really Christian background, drugs and a lot of things. And I mean, it was 1980s in the projects of New York where crack was a thing, and so my stepdad came into play, and he was Christian, and next thing I know, we're moving down to Virginia, and nobody prepared me to be a team member per se, but I would say that my family prepared me to be able to interact with different types of people and see things from different angles instead of living in a bubble, because I came from a very negative early childhood to a very, I'm thankful and I feel like I'm blessed at the current moment. And so it's a really wild, crazy thing.
Gotcha. You mentioned that you're a man of faith. Did you go to church growing up? Did your family go to church now?
I go to church now. I did not go to church growing up. My stepdad used to do at-home Bible studies, and I did go to a church called Doctor Tabernacle of Deliverance under Apostle Butler, and he was huge. And then this was in my late teens, and then I went to my wife's church, who was my girlfriend at the time, Norfolk Garden Baptist under Pastor Hillis. He passed away. And then I went to Acts 2 Church, and that's where my second mentor, because my first one was Bill Davis, and the second one is Rob Stevenson, Pastor Stevenson, and that was really the church where I found myself really growing in my relationship with Christ. So.
Thank you for being able to share your story. I know that coming from such great adversity, it's really great to have people come on and share their stories and show that you can make it regardless of what life throws at you. If you have your head on straight, if you follow good people and you keep good company around and you follow great principles, you can basically go anywhere in life. And that's not because we live in such a great country, but we have such a great Father in heaven. So let's talk about Chick-fil-A culture. What are the things that people should know about Chick-fil-A that isn't really out there yet?
That we genuinely care, which, as a customer, you don't know that, you don't believe it, probably it's not even on your radar. And what I mean by genuinely care is that as an operator and as our leadership team, we spend a significant amount of time with our team members and our leaders, just investing in them, not because of what they bring to the table, because financially it's not a lot, truth be told. It's really because we're trying to help them get from point A to point B in their aspirations. And so not only is that in my restaurant, that's in a vast majority of Chick-fil-A restaurants as far as I'm aware of. And I can say that the corporate office emulates that behavior for us as well. They came alongside me when I was really rough around the edges, and it was a real blessing. I'll tell you. So yeah, it's ultimately it's a business that cares. In so many words, it's not. I can say the things it's not. It's not a clock in, clock out thing. It's not a sales thing. It's not a profit thing. It's not an investment thing. You know, it's a thing in which we used to say impact and influence, and I still kind of live by that statement. It's like not only impact is when you are on scene, right? How do you impact the area that you're in? How do you help change the environment or the scenario in that relationship or in that restaurant or in the community, right? Influence is when you walk out, what happens after you're done? The legacy. Are they still doing it? Have they grown? Did they hit their goals? Did they achieve their aspirations? Did they grow closer to their beliefs? Things like that. And so, yeah, I mean, ultimately, just simply put, it's a business that truly cares. And that's the easiest way to put it.
Has there been a time where you thought that a certain team member or leader did not have what it takes to be at Chick-fil-A? Because I'm going to be honest with you. During my first 6 months at Chick-fil-A, it was April to 2022 when I first started. I thought, I was a good learner. I was very hands-on, but there are times where I had doubts, and I was just like, I knew Chick-fil-A was very different to other fast foods, and so when I first started out, I felt a little bit lost, and I just felt like based on what I was taught and the leaders and how they were coaching me, I just thought I was going to make it. And I thought that I remember seeing you at the store very from time to time, and I thought, he probably not think I'm a good team member. He probably thinks I am not going to be here in a year, which I couldn't blame him if that's what he thinks.
No, it's as it relates to you and to many other people. The issue isn't whether or not they're a good fit or whether or not they're going to last. The issue is whether or not they care enough about themselves and about their opportunity and about what they're learning to try to actually do it. It's about the effort. It's about the pursuit of being better than yesterday. I wasn't good enough to get hired at Chick-fil-A. I mean, to put it frankly, when I got interviewed with Chick-fil-A as a team member, I told the operator, and almost in this exact form and everything, yeah, I don't really know if I want to work here, truth be told, but that girl Cherie that I used to date, she was the one that told me that y'all care about your people. I don't really believe it, but I just want to prove her wrong. So if you don't hire me, whatever. All right, it is what it is. That was almost verbatim what I said. Body language, my tone of voice, all that. I did not deserve to be hired at Chick-fil-A at the time. That's the world's worst interview, But Bill Davis was the one that taught me. He said, this is just an outer shell kind of deal, and he was the one that kind of came alongside me. And then he had Mark Eubank come alongside me. He had another gentleman, Wes, come alongside me. I can name off every manager, Annette, and team leaders, Julie, and it was crazy. And all of them came alongside me. Whether I was a good fit or not wasn't the question. It was whether or not I believed enough to try harder and to be better. Be better being defined as, here's the rules, here's the expectations, and here's how we choose to operate. And you're going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And if I did it, and praise God, here we are today. But, I meet a lot of young men, young women, where some people would kind of like, that's not Chick-fil-A. And normally it's because people make decisions based upon, and I'm not saying they're not Chick-fil-A, I would say as in their customers would say, oh, this person won't get hired because they're this, right? They're that. They experience this, they experience that. Normally it's because of, preconceived thought process on what Chick-fil-A is or who we are. We're here to serve chicken to everyone. And we will hire people provided that they care enough to try to be better. In so many words. I mean, our whole interview is based upon, did you set a goal? Did you pursue said goal? Yes or no? What did you learn from that? And what changes have you made? In so many words. So, yeah, it's not about whether someone fits the mold or not. It's the question is whether or not they want to be more than what they have experienced thus far or expand their horizons. So, sorry, I went on long.
No, no worries. Oftentimes when I'm in the store, I notice that sometimes you help out. You know, people get this idea based on social media that when you are a store operator or owner operator, you're basically treated like a celebrity kind of in the store. No hands-on approach, no helping out team members. And based on what other stores have shared on social media, that couldn't be further from the truth. So my next question would be, when the store is busy, how do you decide where it is best to serve? Where is it best to help out?
This is going to sound funny, but I lean on my leaders. Lean, like, I'll ask you, you good? You know, you've heard that. Are you good?
Mm-hmm.
Need anything? You know, and the same thing, typically I start with Nancy, who's my quote unquote operating partner. Basically, she's like my number one kind of deal. And then I go over to KK, who does the operations in general, and she helps keep everybody in place. And I'm like, hey, y'all good? Do you need anything? And most times, nobody needs me, most times, but I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing's worse than seeing your people, you know, they're not suffocating, they're not drowning in craziness or anything like that, but they're definitely like, yeah, if you can just wipe down tables, please do. I'm like, yeah, of course. If you can do traffic, please. Oh, I would love to. You know, if you can clean that bathroom, is it that bad? You know, yeah, I'll take care of it. You know, as an operator, different styles of leading. I know operators that they work a shift every day consistently. That was Bill Davis, and that's awesome. I know other operators that are very intellectual. They're very hands off, and they spend a lot of their time investing into their leaders. And then there's the mixture of both. I find myself somewhere in there, the mixture of both, because I'm not as smart as some of those operators. But on the same note, like I don't. If I feel like if I work a 8 to 4, 9 to 5 shift in a position, I feel like I will ultimately take those hours or take that opportunity for someone else to grow in. So it's a balancing act. That's the word.
Gotcha.
So.
Do you know the core four?
I know the old school core four. There's a new school core four that we have. The old school core four is eye contact, speak enthusiastic, share a smile, speak enthusiastic, and make emotional connection. The new school core four is something else that I still have a hard time remembering. To put it in perspective, KK corrects me every single time. And I'm like, I'm gonna get it one day. I'm gonna get it one day.
Well, as a certified trainer, they drilled this into me. The new school core four is eye contact, smile,
Share a smile,
speak with a friendly tone,
enthusiastic tone. Yep.
And always say my pleasure.
Yeah, well, my pleasure. All right, my pleasure. My pleasure is part of our core DNA.
Mm-hmm.
I still like whenever I hear someone say my pleasure is part of the core four. I'm like, well, that's like if you breathe. Are you saying your breathing is part of your core four now? Because my pleasure is like that far for me. Mm-hmm. So that's why I find that interesting. That's why I was like, make an emotional connection, as in get to know the person, talk to them. The downside is that it can be pretty awkward. Hey, how's your day coming today? Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. What's going on? I don't. Okay, all right. Here's your food. So that was always interesting.
What are some qualities one should have before going into business with Chick-fil-A? The other question was going to be, how does one become an owner-operator? But
all right, go ahead. So qualities one should have.
before going into business with Chick-fil-A
All right. And are you saying as a team member or as in a operator?
as an operator.
Okay. And then the other one is, what was the other question?
How does one become an owner-operator for Chick-fil-A?
All right. So the process has changed. I'm going to start with the second question. The process has changed greatly since when I first came through. There's two different routes, right? There is the external route and then the internal route. The external route would be, let's say, this person that works in another industry, he places an app or an expression of interest to become an operator, and then he goes through this long list of, it's exhaustive, this long set of interviews. And then let's say he makes it to the final cut. There's some of the things I think they're looking for are some of the things that I think still hold true to when I was first selected. So he goes through this long, exhaustive list, and then they ask for, do you have $10,000? Because that's really the upfront cost in so many words. It's $5,000 on hold, $5,000 non-refundable. So, then there's some other things in that regard. So that's external. Internal is pretty similar, except that it's kind of trial by fire in so many words. One way is you go trial by fire via interviews, right? And then the other way is you're called what's a LDP, interim manager, or leadership. You're in the leadership development program, and that one, that's like you as an employee. You start doing grand openings and things like that, and then you put in an application for LDP, for the leadership development program. You get selected, and in that selection, then they start sending you to different locations to do grand openings, to do closures, to do specialized events, and to do operator support. And depending on how well you do will ultimately determine whether or not you have a future opportunity. The bright side is that you get paid for all of it. Your insurance is all taken care of, at least as far as I'm aware of. And I came through that route back then. And one thing I learned in that process is, it was easily summed up to me as 3 O's and 2 I's. And I think they called it the 5 C's. So, all right, 5 C's is character, chemistry, competency, and then you got to have something like college. And what I mean by that is you have a long-term goal, you showed your commitment to growing, you showed your commitment to pursuing said goal. This wasn't a requirement, it was just a leg up, right? And then it was credit score. I mean, let's be honest. Why would they select someone to lead a $10 million, $12 million organization if they're popping a 500 credit score? You see? Now, mind you, I was along that route. I think when I first started the process, it was before credit score was a conversation topic, and I think I was at 535, 545 maybe at the time. But now I don't know what that requirement is, but that's what I look at, right? 3 C's, and it's really it's 5 C's, but I really look at the 3 C's: character, competency, and chemistry. Who are you when no one's looking, right? Mm-hmm. Are you able to show excellent results in what you pursue? And then do you line up with us, as in you believe in your personal best. You believe in, instead of walking over people, you bring people alongside you or pushing people ahead. You want to develop people, you see. And then the other one was ownership. Do you take ownership, of your opportunity? Opportunistic. Do you see an opportunity when other people don't? And then let me think. Ownership, opportunistic, and optimist. Do you have a healthy optimism about your opportunities? And then the 2 I's are impact and influence. I'm probably never going to get rid of those 2 words and what I look for. It's what's the sense of getting to this stage of the game of life, and then you don't care about anyone else, or you only care about your family, which I'm happy that there's people out there that care about their family. Don't mishear me. But what I'm saying is that for me, not only do I care about my family, but I care about you. I care about Nancy. I care about KK. I care about Kaylani. You see what I mean? Like, there's no point if I'm just going to get money, get profit, and then keep my bills paid and keep my kids fed, and then that's it. I can do that anywhere. I can pick up a trade and not have half the stress I deal with. You see? So, impact, influence, ownership, opportunistic, and optimism, and then character, chemistry, and competency, and then the additional 2 C's that I don't really look at too much, college and credit. I don't really look at those actually at all. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for going into such an in-depth way of how to become an operator. I think that's one of the things that I see on social media. People think it should be easy to become a store operator, and there's a lot of mechanics that go into it. And I knew that working as a certified trainer, but I don't think a lot of people don't know that. They think as long as you have $10,000, you have a store.
Well, all right then. If you graduated high school, should you get accepted into Yale immediately? No. Yeah. You know, or if you purchased a lotto ticket, should you win every time?
Yes. No.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? But then at that point, eventually you would exhaust the opportunity at a macro level. With so many people winning, you run out of funding. Okay. So that's kind of the trick with Chick-fil-A, is that they're extremely, particular about every operator they select to the best of their ability. Now, they're human, right? They would accept a person like myself that didn't deserve the opportunity at the time. I lived my life trying to make Bill Davis proud, trying to make my leaders proud that I'm doing the best I can for you guys. I'm still living that legacy. And so that's kind of the secret with Chick-fil-A. Is like we're not the best out there per se, but we pursue to be the best, and we actively really try. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, the only people you really want to take are people that show, that live out that kind of mentality, that live it out on a regular basis, and people that are committed. So I have no grievance with Chick-fil-A or how challenging it is becoming an operator. There's days I have questions when people I know get turned down, and then after I talk to them, I hear some of their answers. I'm like, okay, I get it. And that's always the hard part. Like, I get it. I can see why.
Okay. What decisions do you get to make as a store operator? Do you do a lot of delegating and leave a lot of decisions down to the operating partner, your directors, or do you get the final say in every decision?
I reserve the right for final say in every decision. I don't actively use that on a regular basis. I only do that on things in which I see that it is, I got to protect the brand. And protecting the brand is not only food safety, it is also customer experience, and it is also employee experience, you see. And so those are kind of the 3 big buckets that I look at if I reserve a right to veto something, it's because it's in those 3 areas. You said decision making. Oh, and then the other one is kind of like if you're on this big ship, you got to steer the path, right? And so I would be called a vision caster, as well as someone that rights the ship when we veer off course. So if I say we want to be Hampton Roads' best Chick-fil-A, then that's our vision, right? There's so many words. That's not it. It's really be a positive agent of change, but you know what I mean. But let's say the best Chick-fil-A. Well, if that's the case, I am not going to tolerate behavior that does not live up to that. You see, and I'm going to demand that we be the best, not only in Hampton Roads but with each other. Why would we lose patience on this subject if we know it's a valid subject? How about we just address it, and how about we just fix it? So as it relates to decision making and things like that, it's normally what I would call the brand guardrails for me. I don't know what Chick-fil-A's Inc.'s answer to that is, but it's food safety, quality of service, and quality of employment, in so many words. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. So we're going to move on a little bit to leadership. How do you balance speed with quality during rush times? I know that this could be probably a good answer for Miss Nancy.
Yeah. Systems and processes, and that's a cookie cutter response, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a saying. I don't know where this came from. Probably came from a movie or somebody said it. It may have came from True or Kathy. I have no idea, truth be told. But it is sometimes slow is fast. And what I mean by that is, if you take this desk right now, and you want to be fast at packing up, right? You're going to change the placement of every single item, or you may stack items, right? The same thing, you see? And that's ultimately how you balance out speed and accuracy. You set up your organization not only in job responsibilities, but also the actual products that's around in a format in which it's very easy to grab and go, and that there's a process for it. I'm not going to have the person that makes the sandwich bag the order, you see? And then I'm not going to have the person that bags the order bag everything at the same time during a peak time. No, they're going to put the entree in. They most likely will put the side in, as in the fries or whatever the case may be, or there may be another person. And then we're going to have another person ensuring that the sauces are in there or the condiments are in there. And then we're going to have another person passing that food out, expedited. You see? So to balance speed and accuracy isn't just move faster, be better, right? Mm-hmm. It's, as a leader, it's how do you look at the business in this kind of format? And how do you create a business or create responsibilities and expectations of each other that's realistic, by the way, that you can still hit a minute and a half if you do this properly, you see? And it's grab and goes, it's who does what, when do they do it, and then what is the final check, and then who passes out kind of deal. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you. How do you know when somebody is ready for more responsibility at Chick-fil-A? For example, how did you know, what made you so sure that Miss Nancy was going to be your number one, your operating partner? Because I remember when I first started here, she was sort of on directorial level.
That thing's been in play for years. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
So how did you know that she was ready to take on more opportunities, more responsibilities?
She said it. She wanted it.
She wanted it?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the funny thing about Nancy. I would, if you can get a shot, interview her at some point. But here's the funny thing about Nancy. She is the most goal-driven person I know. To the point where I'm like, hold on, let's talk about this before you you start doing X, Y, Z. When I hired Nancy, I knew on the day I interviewed her, I knew that she's going to be an integral part of any organization I take part of. And so my desired goal was to make her as happy as possible, make sure she knew that she had my support, and make sure that every step of the way, I was communicating with her on what the priorities are and how do we achieve it, and then what our desired goals are in that process, so that she was part of the decision making, not what you see a lot of leaders doing. I don't see this much in Chick-fil-A, but in other organizations is, this is what we're doing. Either you comply or you get out, you see. Not with Nancy. I gave Nancy a lot of leeway for her to make choices, for her to either make mistakes or make opportunities to learn. It cost me a penny every so often. And in that process, she ultimately took the role operating partner. And what I mean by that is she created her niche in the organization where it just made sense. And I would say a lot of employees in general can do that in many organizations if they if they can show and prove to the leader that makes the decisions that, most organizations, at least in franchising standpoint, I can't speak in corporate realm, in a franchising standpoint, you can almost make your own role. Almost. You just show that you're good and show that you care. If you show that, and you want to be the director of cleanliness of the bathrooms, I lie to you not. Okay, you got it. As long as I don't have to worry about it and think about it, you got it. Is there anything else you want to do? You see, anything else you want? I want to do this, this, and this. All right, we'll show that you can do it, and then we'll go about it. Okay. Anything else you want? People oftentimes look at leaders and business leaders as, well, I see it in the media as people that use their people and some negative things like that. I can't speak for those people. I can only speak for myself, and it is like, if you want an opportunity, you create an environment where you can obtain said opportunity. I'm going to give you said opportunity, and then with that, I'm going to make sure your pay lines up with it. I'm not going to underpay you for something. That's just why, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's the one that made that role. She presented it to me. She created a case that was bulletproof. I couldn't argue against it, nor did I want to. I remember thinking, like, it's about time, yeah, I gave her what she wanted when she wanted it, and I didn't think twice about it, and it was one of the happiest decisions I've made.
Gotcha. How do you define success for someone in a leadership role at Chick-fil-A?
All right, so at Chick-fil-A, there's success and then there's excellence. Success is when you measure yourself against other people. We're not doing that. We're not. There's always going to be someone better out there. And that is going to be a very depressing state to be in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellence is what we look at. And it is your best against your best. That's why you've heard me say, how are we being better than yesterday? You may have heard me say that, but I say that a lot. Like, that was yesterday, how are we doing better today? It is, it's measuring success or measuring excellence is really understanding the person and understanding their capacity at that time or what they believe their capacity was, and then watching them hit said capacity goal or surpass said capacity goal, or sometimes undershoot it, right? And everybody can't be driven all the time. You need time to recharge. Not everybody's great all the time. And so as an operator, we come alongside not only the people that are hitting it, the people that are staying there, but also the people that are missing the mark. We're like, hey, are you good? Everything all right? What's going on? Oh, this, and this. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. If you need anything, I don't know what I can do, but I'll help. And I've done that a lot, and I've helped in multiple ways. Excellence for me is meeting someone where they're at and then helping them move forward, whether that's position, whether that's pay, whether that's just a life issue they're facing, or sometimes it's, I'm not going to go, but yeah, there's a lot of that. So it's not success we're looking for, it's excellence.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sad because you gave so many great points and answered a lot of the questions that I had. Is there anything that you would like to share with my guests on the show or my viewers that will resonate with them?
I don't know who your guests are, but I would say in general, know that you've been fearfully and wonderfully made. Have a sense of value in yourself. Have a sense of respect in yourself. Do not forget, in my case, I use Proverbs 22:1. Do not forget your name, and do not forget the name of the person you represent, or if you don't have a belief structure, the family you represent, or the person you're aspiring to become, that person you're going to represent. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
as the days go on and as the challenges pile up and as the hard times hit, we get tired. We make decisions that are opposite of who we are pursuing to become or what our values are at times. And then we're stuck picking up the pieces. Just allow people to be there with you. Allow people to come alongside you, put their arm around your shoulder and say, hey, I got you. You can lean on me. I'll do what I can to support you through this. And then from there, we're going to start running that race again. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And don't let social media fool you. Like, golly. So, I mean, that's it, I guess.
Well, folks, this has been Juan Ortiz. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. I very appreciate you.
And it's Ortiz, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. I knew I had it right the first time. All right. One of the things I'm very incredibly thankful for Juan Ortiz. I think when I first started at Chick-fil-A, I was really at a rough point in my life. I've just had some issues going on with family members. I've moved to a very different state, and I was just basically starting over from ground zero, yes. So I'm very incredibly thankful for Miss Nancy, who took me on, who interviewed me, offered me a job, and I'm incredibly grateful that the team at Chick-fil-A Broad Creek Crossing has been incredibly amazing, how they coach me and how they teach me and how they inspire me to be better. And I know that I am not the same woman that I was 3 years ago when I was starting to work out at Chick-fil-A. So I thank a lot of that credit to the people there. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today on this podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. I just came from over there. Anyways, how was that interview? Was that interview like the best? Oh my gosh, I definitely enjoyed my times sitting down with Juan and being able to do this interview. Shout out to all the leaders and directors and team members and certified trainers at Broad Creek Crossings. You guys are the best team to ever work with. I am very thankful for the opportunity to be able to work at this store, and the people there, they've just given me such a leg up in life, and I will always remain grateful and thankful for that. So until next time, you guys, I'll see you around. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you are a new guest to my show, please subscribe, like the episode, and leave a comment. If you are watching this on any platform like Spotify, please be sure to leave a great review. I am always open to other commentary and feedback on my podcast. For all my returning guests, thank you so much for your continuous support. Your investment gives me the motivation to keep going and keep producing content. So thank you so much to you guys. Love you always. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit more, you can check out all my social media sites. If this episode really resonated with you, then you'll definitely love my deeper dives on my Substack. So be sure to check it out and see all the things I'm writing about. And please, always stay rooted in truth, stand firm in grace. Never forget, this is her time. This is her America. Yours